way to solidify your expertise, to become unforgettable to your dream people, and to stand out as a leader. So let's jump right in because I'm excited to share this with you. Now, the quickest way to do this is by expressing or busting myths. So, we're not going to hold off on this today because I want to really jump into why this is such a pivotal and such an important aspect of your content strategy. Let's be honest. When you get to speak about and talk about the misconceptions and the myths within your industry, and you shine a light on or you bring to their knowledge, what's going on, why this myth isn't right, or this misconception, why this is happening and how it's impacting them, right? People want to listen. They want to start keying into that. They want to be like, oh, I don't need to be doing things this way, or this wasn't the right way, or is this what's keeping me stuck or blocked from getting the results I've been trying to get the whole time, right? Then when you talk about the things that people aren't really talking about, or it's kind of hush hush, or there's just a little controversy behind it, you stand out because people follow leaders. They follow people who are braver than them, who are willing to say the things that we really want to say or we're thinking, but maybe we're not feeling as confident in sharing with the world, right? We're putting it out there, okay? So your willingness to be controversial, to bust myths, to talk about the things that maybe everyone isn't really talking about, or to share your perspective on it and share your story and take a stand, it shows that you are someone who is confident in your knowledge, in your expertise, in your experience, and who's willing to also fight for your audience. And people like that. People like to know that, like, you're not just going to be, wishy-washy and just follow the crowd and do what everyone else is doing. They want to believe that, you're confident in what you're saying. You have the knowledge, the experience, the expertise, but the confidence to guide them to their ultimate destination. Most people, especially now with so much noise and so much going on in the internet, online space, most people are forgettable because they're afraid to stand out. And I get it. Our brains are like, safety. Safety is to hide, to be comfortable, to kind of mellow down and fluff up and dilute our message because that's safe, right? We don't need to worry about someone coming at us or attacking us or objectifying to what we're, having some objection or issue with what we're saying. If we sound like everyone else and we kind of blend in, that's safety, right? That's our natural human instinct. However, it makes you forgettable because you sound like everyone else. And so people can price shop. What makes you stand out? What makes you different from everything else I'm hearing in the marketplace around this thing? So we've got to really take a stand on a topic, an area within our industry that we feel really passionate about, that we know, like, this thing, this belief that our audience has, these myths, these misconceptions are hurting our people. And we've got to be able to take the stand and be really vocal about that in our, either whether it's alive or in your content, and understand that that's what's going to actually grow your business. That's what's going to make you unforgettable, because now you're seeing something that is maybe controversial, or maybe something that people aren't really talking about the way they should or could be, that maybe your people are like thinking about but they're not saying. And it also can solidify you as a leader, because leaders, they are the ones who come to the forefront. They guide their people. They're brave. They stand up, and they're willing to shield and to protect their people and to show, like, hey, this is what it is. I'm taking one for the team, so to speak, as a leader. Okay. And as a coach, that's part of what we are, whether we like it or not. You are a leader. People look to you for leadership when you're helping people to uncover, inner workings, when you're helping them to get to a specific goal or a result or transformation. You are in a leadership like position. Obviously, we're working in tandem with our clients. We are on this journey together. We're guiding them. But when it comes to your marketing, that leadership is what gives people the confidence to follow you, to want to learn from you, to want to work with you. That's a big part of that too. Okay. So, own your knowledge, own your expertise, own your experiences, and be able to bust those myths and misconceptions that are keeping your people stuck. and unable to get the results that they want because they're believing something. There's something they're believing that's holding them back from taking that next step. Okay. So let me okay, so I want to really quickly give you some examples, and then I want to give you like a really quick and simple template that you can use to create this type of content. And again, this could be like content. You could, depending on your industry and like all the different myths and misconceptions, you could have content for days, if not weeks, just by using this simple content strategy and busting myths. Okay, so the simple strategy. Let's go. I'm gonna give you the structure first. Outline is really simple. Find a myth, write out all the myths, right? The misconceptions, the beliefs that your ideal person has around your industry. And what are those myths, right? Write them all down. Don't put them in one. Create a list of all the different misconceptions. And then talk about how those misconceptions, that belief is hurting your ideal client. So how is that, like, that belief that this is what they need to be doing or feeling or thinking, how is that hurting them? How is that showing up in their life and actually keeping them stuck? How is that hurting, like impacting them internally, right? And holding them and keeping them stuck. And then how do you want to what do you want to shine a light on? What is the new belief that you want them to have around this thing? What is the thing that you're like, you got to stop believing this. This is no longer working, or it's hurting you in this way. Here's what a new belief that you can adopt that's going to actually help you get to the end result, the thing that you are looking for, the transformation you want, or just give them that clarity. Because sometimes the myth could be what's causing fog in their minds around what's the next step. And by you busting that myth and giving them a new belief, a new understanding of it, they can now have clarity so they know what the next best step for them is. Okay. So I'm going to give you some examples. I wrote it down here for myself so that I can remember. All right. So let's say you're in the health industry, right? So one of the major myths that you could be having that you see in the health industry is maybe the myth that you can't lose weight and gain muscle unless you're doing just weight training, right? You have to be fully weight training, cardio ain't it. And so you have a group of people who believe this, and like they're very hardcore weight training people. And they're like, you've got to do weights if you want to, lose weight, gain muscle, whatever. And then you could be like, well, I disagree because I'm able to, tone up and lean up and everything like that. And I never did weights. I did resistance bands and cardio. Like that's how I lost weight and gained muscle. Okay. That's a myth that you're busting, is this belief that this is the only way that you can have this result. And so you can share like, hey, by believing this, it's holding you back maybe because you don't like to weight train or you don't have the equipment in your house. And so you're like, I don't want to go to the gym and deal with this. And you feel like it's holding you back because now there's this, fear of going to the gym. There's this fear of you don't have the equipment, whatever it may be. And internally it's holding you back from feeling like you can actually be successful in your weight journey, right? Your weight loss journey, whatever it may be, right? So now you've given them like, you don't have to do this or believe this. There's another way. Here's that other way. Let's stop being in this space of belief because it's hurting you. It's making you feel like you won't be successful. And there's all these barriers to your success because of this belief. So I hope like that makes sense for you. So that's another, myth that you can bust. You can bust a myth, let's say in the health industry around food, right? We've got so many different diet plans. You could be low carb, low fat, high fat, low sugar. You can do so many keto, paleo. There's so many options out there. And if you can bust the myth around maybe people's belief around they need to have this specific diet, or maybe again, you can shine the light on what's the new belief, what's the new thing, what was holding them back around that, how was it keeping them stuck in their ability to, I don't know, eat healthier, be more have more nutrients in their body, whatever it may be. So just think about those things. Let's say dating. Maybe a belief your people have when it comes to dating is like, if you don't give it up on the first date, if you do give it up on the first date, you're easy, versus maybe you're playing hard to get or something like that. Whatever it may be, figure out what the myth is that your people have. Parenting is a big one. There's huge controversy between like, old school parenting, like, is that still helpful? Is it working versus the new gentle parenting, um, movement that's happening. So where do you stand on that? What is the myth that maybe you want to bust, depending on which side you're on when it comes to that, right? So just really write down, what are those misconceptions? What are those myths? What are those things that people feel like they need to do in order to get a result that you don't agree with, that you're like, no, there's a better way. Here is that better way. I know for me in business, one of my biggest one is the 24/7 hustle. I don't believe in that. I know there's still coaches who are very much like, if you want to be successful, you got to grind, grind, grind 24/7, in order to be successful in your business. And, I bought into that mindset for a really long time in the beginning. Um, and I found a better way. And it's been like mind blowing. And it's what I help my clients with too, is really understanding that you don't need to be grinding, grinding. You just have to be really meticulous and intentional and strategic about what you are doing in the small amount of time that you do have to do what you got to do. Because most of my clients are moms like me. I don't have 24/7 to grind. I have a very small window of time that I dedicate to my business, and then the rest is to my babies. And so, like, even that, like, that's something that I talk about, is like, let's simplify and streamline your business so that you can have what you desire and not feel like there is this perpetuating myth that's still going on right now, that you have to grind. I see so many coaches who talk about they work 48 plus hours, a week kind of thing. And I'm like, whoa, no. So that's something that I don't, align with, for me. And that's something I'm very vocal about, amongst other things as well. But like, really be connected to that, right? Because that's really going to serve, it's going to really help you to serve your ideal clients. And when people see that you are willing to take a stance on something, that you're willing to bust myths, you're willing to show and guide them in the right way, in the path, they're more likely to follow you. They're more likely to listen to you. And of course, don't just give like your own opinion. That's nice. But if you can back it up with facts, right? Like data or your own experiences through like working with clients and things like that, that also helps to solidify the new belief for them as well, right? You don't want to just be like, don't do this, do this. It's like, okay, but really solidify that with either data or, like experiences, like, hey, this is what's happened for me. This is my story. And if you have client testimonials or client case studies, here's a client who also implemented this, and that's why I believe very heavily that this is the new way to do things. And you can let go of this belief or misconception that's holding you back. Okay. So go and adopt that. Go and write that out. Go write out their misconceptions and misconceptions and myths. Write out how that is actually showing up for your ideal client in terms of how it's impacting them internally. Like, what is showing up? How's that blocking them from what they truly desire? That part is important. And then the last piece of this structure is, what's the new belief you want to give them? What insights do you want to provide for them to help them understand and see that there is a new way, there is a better way, that this myth or misconception is hurting them? Well, they'll see that in the middle, but what's the new insight you want to give them? What's the missing piece that they can now adopt, the missing belief, the thought that they can adopt and now take with them to have clarity, to take action on, for themselves? Okay. All right, I hope that was helpful for today. I will see you all tomorrow. Go and implement, because that is how we are successful in our businesses. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. And as always, if you want deeper support around this, if you're like, yes, I want to start writing more posts around busting myths and misconceptions, I want to stand out, I want to, solidify my leadership and expertise and become unforgettable to my ideal clients, so that they come to me and they know that I'm the one who can help them, get to their end goal, then you know where to find me. Send me a message in DM with the word client. We're going to have a conversation. I'll look at your content, your messaging. I'll give you some advice on some tweaks that you can make. And then obviously, if it makes sense and if it's a good fit, I'll invite you to, work deeper so that we can actually map out your content strategy, get your message solid, and get you those 2 to 3, 4 beautiful clients every single month consistently, with a strategy that works for you, aligns for you, and doesn't require 24/7 hustle on your part. Okay. All right.